My dear brothers and sisters, my khutbah today on halal and haram in Islam is most about haram than halal. Because we know halal plenty, haram limited, numbered. Now every civilization, every society must have boundaries, must have things illegal, prohibited, unlawful. People must not go near to them. Otherwise, human society is not going to exist. It's not possible. However, the criteria, how you come up with forbidden things, list of haram, may be different depending on belief, culture, civilization, system, all those things. Our criteria is different and other people's criteria is different. But one thing is certain, everybody accept, agree, there must be things haram. In Arabic, haram. In English, illegal, forbidden. If we don't have haram, then murder will become halal. Lying will become halal. Cheating will become halal. Bribery will become halal. If murder becomes halal, then none of us will live. We will kill each other. So therefore, the haram is the concern we are talking about today, inshallah. Now, what things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made haram for us? The verse I have recited, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on behalf of Allah, he enjoins them, us, what is good, forbid what is evil. He forbids what is evil, makes pure things halal and impure things haram. So whatever is pure is halal, whatever is impure is haram. Whatever good, the Prophet ﷺ, he tells us to do them. Whatever is bad, he tells us not to go near to it. Very simple criteria. Now, one may ask, one may think, if I then think something is good, which is maybe different what Islam says, but scientists may say there is no problem in that. Okay? So Quran says something halal, science says it is haram, Quran says something haram, science, medical or others say it is halal. They say this is no problem in that, no impurity in that. So what do we do? Shall we accept Quran? Shall we accept science? Simple answer for us is we follow the Quran. Whatever Quran says, we follow that because we don't need scientific evidence. However, we believe, Muslims, we must have this confidence. Must have this confidence that if science investigates neutrally, properly, they will make the same conclusion what Quran makes. We must have this confidence. And I give you evidence. A lot of you have read this news, I believe, and I read it on 23rd of August, just a few days ago. So what happened? A study, American University, investigated alcohol consumption and health effects in 195 countries. So some Muslim countries are also there. Okay? Between 1990 to 2016, 26 years. 26 years they investigated. The researchers used data from 694 studies to work out how common drinking was, and from 592 studies, including 20 million people. 592 studies, including 20 million people worldwide, to work out health risk. And the conclusion they made, even occasional drink is harmful to health. Even occasional drink is harmful to health. According to, and they say that governments, the suggestion of the reporter, governments should think of advising people to abstain completely, give up completely. What is interesting, that our chief medical officer, Sally Davis, she said, there is no safe level of alcohol consumption. There is no safe level. Meaning alcohol, no good, no good, no good. Now, we know, Muslims knew about 2,000 years back, the alcohol no good. And scientists now, studying after hundreds of years, they are coming to conclusion. Do we need to investigate other haram, whatever in Islam? Islam says haram, same thing will happen. If they study, but who is going to study? Muslim countries, the rich Muslim countries, they need to take this opportunity. They need to take this project. The way they have studied alcohol, all other haram, the adultery, the lying and cheating and harming others, the suicide, all those things, if they study, if they ask people, people will say they are no good. So Islam made them haram. So whatever Quran says, we take it for granted. We don't question. Not necessary to ask further question, if and but and so. Because Allah, He is Ahkamul Hakimin, Al-Alim, Al-Khabir, Al-Hakim. He knows the best. He says something haram, haram. One interesting comment the reporter made, very interesting, that alcohol farms would lose 13 billion if drinkers in England, only England, stuck to limits. If they have within the limit, then within the limit, they are not saying that they completely abandon. If they have within the limit, whatever, the government limit or other limit, then lose 13 billion. So if alcohol is completely abandoned and banned, how much money they are going to lose? So do we expect them to make it illegal, unlawful? Even cigarette they couldn't make illegal. They say smoking kills. They write it's still legal because the lobby, the rich people, they will not allow us to make these things, or governments to make these things illegal. So the conclusion is, whatever Islam says, Quran says, haram, 100% satisfaction we must have, and we abandon, we don't go near. Because if not today, tomorrow or day after, scientists will come. If they want to, they study, they will come up with same conclusion. Like our chief medical officer says, exactly Quran says the same thing. I don't think she quoted from the Quran, but it's the same thing. So human being, when they think properly, neutrally, then they come up with same conclusion what Islam says. What a beautiful religion Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. Alhamdulillah. Now, benefit is actually, whatever haram is for our benefit. is for our benefit, human benefit. Imam Az-Zahabi, he listed, some of you know, or most of you know, 70 kabair, big sin, meaning haram, 70. Only one, shirk, related to Allah. Only one related to Allah is shirk. The rest of them, 69 of them, for our own benefit. How to live a good life. How to live a peaceful life. How to live a harmonious life. For example, I categorize them into three. And I found that some of them to protect us from self-harm. The alcohol is one of them. Alcohol is self-harm. So, if we don't consume alcohol, then we protect ourselves. Smoking, self-harm. Gambling, suicide, all these and there are more, self-harm. So haram, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made things haram to protect us so that we don't harm ourselves. To protect our relationship with others. Backbiting, for example. Adultery, for example. Disobedience to parents, for example. So these are to maintain our relationship with others. So all for our benefit. To protect the society. Bribery, for example. Murder, for example. False witness, for example. Theft, for example. These are all to protect human society. Living together so that we can live peacefully in a beautiful way. We don't harm each other. So all this haram, whatever Islam listed for us, for our benefit. Not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He enjoys if something haram and I gave my servants trouble so they can't move. No, not for that. For actually for our benefit. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made our life easy. Haram listed a few and everything else is halal. And no one can make something haram except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very clear daleel to make something haram. And people cannot just do it willy-nilly, something, and today is halal, another day is haram. People cannot do that. When something new comes, then we get confused. Muslims get confused. For example, when internet came, so is it halal or is it haram? Before that, when microphone first came, halal or haram, confused. And this confusion creates problem for us and pushes us backwards. So this principle is, as we find in the Sunnah, that when something new comes, for example, in future somebody was telling me, very soon it is coming that robot is going to give fatwa. Yeah? Artificial intelligence robot is going to give fatwa. So what, is it halal or is it haram? We may actually start discussion about halal haram, but you will find that some people already started it. And people are using it already. For example, the internet, Shaykh Google, and you will agree with me, most people, especially young people, to find out something, they type in the Google. So if only any shaykh want to give correct fatwa, they have to go through internet and give correct fatwa. They don't come to you anymore. The same thing is going to happen when something new comes. So you have to look at it positively, that because Islam made things halal unless there is an evidence it is haram. So I'm not giving a fatwa, but I'm saying because it's attitude. What is our attitude? Our attitude should be positive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made everything, for us to consume, to benefit, and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this world, inshallah. Now, this halal and haram should form our values. Our values. We follow these values. There is sometimes we look at negatively haram, halal, and we think it's very restrictive. They are not restrictive. And we have to present ourselves in a way that these are values we try to inculcate among ourselves. They are the values we follow. And we have to maintain them in public as well as in private. Sometimes in public, something in public, we abstain. But in private, we don't. But we have to follow the instructions. We have to follow Islam to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for our benefit, not to show other people. That is important. Sometimes we are serious about something and not so serious about something else. Most questionable is, or something we see happen in the society, that some groups, they identify themselves with some aspects of Islam and they ignore other aspects. So for example, if you want to be with our group, our Jama'ah, you cannot work in a bank. But you occasionally, if you have credit card and borrow and pay interest, it's okay maybe. But you cannot work in a bank. So the contradiction we have sometimes, and then group identity with certain aspects and just ignore others. All haram are haram, and we have to follow accordingly. Good intention doesn't make a haram halal. Some people say, I will steal from the rich and I'll distribute to the poor. There are some even, some Muslims think like that. Unless we actually take from them by force, they are not going to give. Therefore, take from rich by force. Allah said in the Qur'an that in the wealth of rich, the portion, share of poor is there. So they don't give, therefore we take by force and give to the poor. So that doesn't actually, and good intention doesn't make something halal. Sometimes some people make something halal for them, haram for others. That also happens. Okay, some people, I can't give up smoking. Okay, but tell children, don't smoke, don't, it's haram, haram, haram. But I cannot give up because bad habit. Okay, it's okay for me. So these things do happen. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want us to be stuck. When we talk about haram, and we say, what about if I have no way? I have no other way but to, exceed the limit. Occasion may come like that. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Qur'an, if occasion is like that, situation is like that, إنما حرم عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير وما أهل به لغير الله فمن اضطر غير باغ ولا عاد فلا إثم عليه إن الله غفور رحيم. If someone is compelled by absolute necessity and he doesn't intend to sin and he doesn't want to transgress, then he will incur no sin if that situation comes. But however, as soon as his situation changes, he has to go back and he has to make tawbah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants we live a good life in obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, follow the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah. But his occasion comes, sometimes we unintentionally or compelled to do something. We do, but we make tawbah and we come back to the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم حامدا ومصليا ومسلما الحمد لله الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. We talked about especially haram what things are haram, and how do we conduct ourselves. Now, I would like to mention very quickly 3 more points, inshallah. First of all, how do we teach our children about haram? So this is important. If we don't teach them positively, then it may not work, it may backfire. So we have to teach them, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Inna arsalnaka bil haqqi bashiran wa nadhira." I have sent you with truth as Bashir, bearer of good news, and warner. So bearer of good news. So when we actually tell them this is haram, and we have to say what benefit you get abiding by these rules. What benefit you get? It is not to restrict yourself, not to create obstacles, but to help you to progress, to help you to do better in life, to help you to live a good life. So that is the way we have to really teach our kids, our children. It's very important. We are sometimes very negative. Islam, negative. We present Islam very negatively to our children. Therefore, they develop a detest for Islam. So Islam should be presented beautifully to our children. It is for our benefit in this world and benefit in hereafter. This world and hereafter. And that's what we should continue, inshallah. Ourselves, how do we act according to the list of halal and haram? Prophet ﷺ said in a beautiful hadith, "Ma nahaytukum anhu fajtanibuh, wa ma amartukum bihi fa'atu minhu mastata'atum." Beautiful. That if you know the list of haram, he said whatever things made haram, stay away from them. When you stay away from them, then whatever good things you can do, as much as you can do, mashallah, well done. As much as you can do. Because there are so many good things you can do. So much you can do. Unlimited you can do. And you cannot perhaps do 24 hours worship. But if you abandon haram, then your scale of bad deeds is not going down. Right? If it goes down, then in this side you have to put a lot of good deeds to make it heavier. But if you don't commit sin, then it's not going down. If you do little bit good deeds, it's going down, heavier. Very simple, Prophet ﷺ said. Therefore, we need to know the list of haram, inshallah, and stay away from them. And try to do as much as you can, inshallah. And also, the last point, how do we deal with other Muslims, those who actually do not abide by the rules of Islam? And you can see Muslims drinking, Muslims lying, Muslims cheating, Muslims taking drugs, Muslim, killing others. All these things happen. So we need to find out what's the reason. What is the reason? And rather than finding out, we start criticizing. And that doesn't work. Backfires. Those who have already gone astray, it didn't happen in one day, in many days maybe. Then you have to see in a longer term. You have to take a view, long-term view. And we have to educate them. And we have to befriend them. And slowly we have to try to correct them. What about non-Muslims? Our friends, non-Muslims, our colleagues, our neighbors, they don't have any concept of this kind of halal and haram. They do things in front of us. We see their haram. What do? We keep our mouth shut and act according to our values. One day, they will realize and they will follow. So many evidence for that. Rather than criticizing, condemning, hating, all those things. In Muslim countries as well, what percentage of people are actually abiding by the rules of Islam? How Muslims are dealing with that? Why in this country we should become so hot-headed when we see non-Muslims are doing this. Therefore, it is important that we stick to our principles, inshallah. That is best form of da'wah. That is best form of presenting Islam to non-Muslim, inshallah. إن الله ملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداء الدين وانصر عبادك الموحدين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون واذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وأقم الصلاة